Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream. Today we're just going to do a short one. I'm putting in these new solar panels on the Glacier build over here, and I'm changing them out because I didn't like the brackets that were on the old ones. There was not a very satisfying securing of the solar panel on the roof, so went ahead and changed that up. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the solar panel I took off. And when you buy solar panels, they'll usually come with a pack. And let's see right here. So you'll get like a box, looks like this. And then inside the box, these are Renogy, for example. You'll have these brackets. And they're kind of a universal fit because they don't know, which way or orientation you're going to mount the solar panel. The issue that I have with them is depending on how you are going to do this, has to do with how these are going to mount. So you'll have one that's like an adjustable mount if you flip it this way. If you're able to flip it the other way, you have two holes. But really it's kind of a flimsy mount. Not that I won't do this in the future, but what I've done in the last two builds is I've gone to this method. So what I'm using is this 1-inch aluminum tubing, and this stuff you can just get from Lowe's. It's a 1-inch, 8 feet long, and I forgot the thickness of it. But so these two is what I'm going to use for the mounting. Now, if you saw some of the live streams and videos on Thomas's van, what we did there was I used these for all the 50-watt panels, and I had 4 of them. And these doing tubing like this was the only way that I could actually get these tubes to go underneath the roof rack rails and adjust it to where I could actually mount these so they weren't sticking up way high above his van. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how I put those together. I'm just going to check the live stream really quick. All right, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Actually, while I'm over here on the computer, let me show you this. So this right here is, there we go. So this is the one I've already put on the van. The video you're going to see next is the one where I'm actually drilling into or bolting the rails to the panel. So this is what both of them are going to look like. Now this solar panel, it's 20 inches wide, and I think it's 40 1/4 long. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, 20 inches wide, 40 1/4 long. These are rich solar 100-watt panels. They're in the black look, which is pretty cool. You won't see these, but I always kind of go with the black version if I can. I was impressed with the rich solar panels from John and Susan's build, so that's why I decided to get these. Now with this panel, you can see here, I'm going to zoom in and you'll kind of see what we're talking about today. But these bolts right here, and yes, I on purpose did not put a washer underneath this bolt. The reason I'm doing that is I have another piece of angle aluminum that goes on top of this, and I just want it to be as low profile as possible. Plus I kind of like how the heads of these kind of bite into the rail. And if you want to put a washer, you can, but I have the bolt, and then this is 2 inches right here. The bolt is 2.5 inches, so with the washer on the bottom, the lock nut on the bottom, and the nylock nut, I don't have too much meat to grab to. So yeah, if you're wondering why there's no washer, I did not put a washer on purpose. You'll also notice that these rails are on the inside as opposed to on the outside. And again, that just has to do with this other panel. Typically I would do it on the wider side, but I'll talk about that in just a second. Anyway, what I like so much about this is it's square tubing, it's super strong, it makes the panel very rigid, and it's just a very positive mounting on top of the roof. You know, going 80 miles an hour down the highway, this will make you very confident that the panel's not going to rattle, or, you know, those little brackets are going to hold it. So the next part of this, let's get into the next photo. So right here, so start paying attention to where the max fan is. Now this is a Flatline Vanco roof rack. I think Flatline Vanco makes great roof racks. However, I really wish they would make them wider by 2 inches. That would be my preference, because the 20-inch width right here with a max fan, it is so close. So we'll zoom in here to this rail, and you see how I have it, it's perfectly on this rail, just butted up right against it. Again, in this photo, you can see where these 2 bolts are. Right here, I have a different solar panel mounting, and I need access to this, so that's why these rails are moved on the inside. Again, you'll see that in just a second. But right here, this is kind of the most important thing to think about when you're doing your roof rack placement. The max fan is in the center. There's really no way to adjust the max fan. You want that to be dead center, and kind of that's its home. The roof rack, believe it or not, you can adjust. So you can slide it left or right. And I would caution, be careful when you're doing that, because if you push it too much over to the right by 1/4 of an inch, you can see how that's going to affect your clearance with your max fan. This max fan is going to change size depending on the temperature. So if it's super hot outside, this side might flex out a little bit and then retract when it's cold. So say you put your whole roof together when it was cold and everything had clearance. Well, come to summertime, it's 100+ degrees, whatever, on the roof of your van, this might bow out and rub against your solar panel. Now, it's not the end of the world if it's just barely grazing it, but just know that it'll be important to keep that gap as much as you can. So that is why I would like Flatline Vanco to make a wider roof rack, at least by another inch, just to help us out. Because the other reason I changed this panel for my customer is because the industry changed its standard. There used to be a compact solar panel, and there used to be a standard solar panel size for the 100-watt range. And I guess with logistics, inventory, stuff like that, the SKUs that I've seen have gone down to 1 size. So the compact version I can't find anymore. And between Renogy and Ridge Solar, I've found that the 20-inch by 40 1/4, that seems to be kind of the new standard. So I didn't want my customer that purchases this fan in the future, if they break it or something fails, that we don't have a way to easily replace it. Because what I did before they bought the van, I had a very custom approach to the top of the roof, and that doesn't really go well for future maintenance. What you're seeing right here, we're going to get to the live install here in just a second, but what you're seeing right here is this is the roof rack rail, and then the 1-inch aluminum going across the bottom, and then the bolts on the bottom side. And it's just I think it's a great way to do this. So you can see, especially if you want the solar panel to sit flush to the rail, that could be to reduce wind noise if you're having issues with that. Just keeping it low profile, so not that a van is stealth by any means, but if you want it to not look like you have a bunch of solar panels and maybe just a roof rack that's just flat, this is a way to do it. On Thomas's van, I did this because I had a little overlap on some areas. So what was nice is I could inset this down 1 inch flush with the railing, and then if I needed to put something on top of the panel, maybe by 1/2 inch or an inch, I was able to do that. So that might be something else you might want to consider. Yeah, so let's hop back over to the table over here, and I'll kind of show you in real time how I do this. It's very simple, but sometimes it's just good to watch somebody do something. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more at the camera. Okay. So the way that I did the 50-watt panels in Thomas's van was I took the rail, and this is probably more typical of what you might do. If you look at a solar panel, they're going to have a bunch of just kind of like universal mounting places. They're going to have some along this side, some along the top, and then some along the sides. There is a grounding strap, but I don't put anything on the grounding strap. But if you think that's necessary, I haven't found a need for it to be necessary, considering that the roof rack is bolted through the chassis of the van. But let's see here. Let's get... Now you can, if you still want to use these brackets, you can. While we're here, why don't we just talk about it? So these brackets, they're for all kinds of different orientations. And they allow you to, I'll use this one's probably easier on camera. They allow you to adjust up and down. So you'll see these, usually on RVs where they just drill straight through the roof. So you can do this, you can flip it over, you can go on the inside. So you got a lot of different mounting methods. But again, like I was saying earlier, this right here is very, it does get more rigid when you bolt it to the roof rack, but I don't know. I just like, that's why I'm making this video. I think this is the best way to do it. If you want to, this aluminum will have a little bit of corrosion on it. So over time it might have like a little white powder or something like that. That's not going to hurt anything. But typically this is going to be underneath the panel, so you won't see it. But if you are a little OCD on that and you want to make it not do that, you can sand it down. And I've done this when I used aluminum on stuff inside the van to make it look nice. You can sand it down, clean it with denatured alcohol, and then you can clear coat it. Just simply clear coat it. And I did that for some interior power systems. So you can put these two on the outside rail, and then what I do is I will go ahead and find my holes. I'll drill through this, and I'm going to show you this whole part. And then I'll bolt these to the solar panel. Then I'll take the solar panel and the rail, bring it up to the roof, make my mark, and then I will drill through this and the rail. I'll go through both of them on the actual roof. There's no need to mark it, take it down, unbolt it, put it on a drill press, and then assemble it. Just takes too much time. So just get these bolted first, as you'll see in a second, and then this rail, drill through this. I also thought that, putting the little 80-20 slide pieces to bolt into, I find that those are not a very secure connection over time with vibration. So that's actually what came loose and was another issue with this panel, is because I checked it one day and one of the bolts were loose. It's a 1/4-20 bolt. It was only a 1/4 inch long. Even though I had washer, lock washer, and Loctite on it, one of them still came loose, and that's no good for solar panel roof rack. So this direct bolt method is makes me happy. Makes me not worry about a customer's solar panel flying off on the highway. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll kind of walk you through kind of what's in my head about measuring this, locating the holes, and the hardware I use. And yeah, so first things first, we're going to measure. You need to measure the solar panel. The second thing you need to do is understand where your gap is between your rails. You might get lucky with whatever van you're working on. And let's just say your rails are kind of, this van, I've got everything. I've got the Dometic RTX 2000 max fan and another 100 and I think a 40 watt panel up there. I can't move those. So my rail here and my rail over here is fixed. So what I did was I went up and I measured my distance, and then I didn't want it to go the whole distance because I need it to kind of go in and then back so I can actually fit it in there. So what I did was I measured the distance between the widest part of the rails, and then I subtracted the difference of one rail. That puts me in the middle, and then that way I can just have these rails come right to the edge. Yeah, so that's what I did. You might have a better situation where you can actually move this and not to have so much rail sticking out. So once you've found your rail width, go ahead and take your piece of 1-inch tubing, and mine came out to 47¼ inch, so I cut 2 pieces. And then I just did a general, dividing to see like how much I need on each side. And it was right about 3.5 inches. It's not going to be perfect. So what I did was, what I found building vans is everything's not perfect. So if you can just find one side to be your kind of home point to go from, don't really worry about the other side. That seems to be the easiest way on the roof. So where the box is and the wires, that is something that I can't change. So I want to make sure that when I mount this, that this is the front of the panel and this is the back of the panel, because I've already have my wiring back here in the back. Now before I forget, I'm going to need to cut that wire. So there's just a zip tie here I'm going to cut off. And then this is going to make sure it actually feeds to where I need it to. Because once I take this from the table and put it up there, I'm not coming back. So let's get everything done while we're down here. All right. Next step is I take my rails and I'm going to measure 3.5 inches. I've got a blue permanent marker right here. I'm going to go back 3.5 inches and make a mark. And I did this before I started going live, so I've got some marks in here. I got to remember where I was starting from. Okay, so there's going to be 2 marks on the front, and again, this is just for my situation, but maybe you can copy it to yours. So I got 3.5 inches. That's to this outer part of the frame. 3.5 inches to the outer part, and then what we're going to do is we're going to eyeball. So not everything has to be super perfect. This is what I've learned building vans is. I am a perfectionist, but the issue is getting stuff done, and perfection is hard to kind of wrestle with. So I've let myself go in a couple of things that are not critical. 3.5 inches, And then right here, what I'm doing is I'm finding the center point of this slot. So this is where this rail will be. This is where the other rail is going to be. And then I come back here. And again, I'm just marking my center point. And I have a 1/4 inch bit on my drill press. So now I'm going to flip this one over. And then I need to get my punch down tool, my center punch. And then on this one, I'm just going to go where that mark was, and I'm going to find the center and do a punch down. Now I won't do that when I put this on the roof, but it is important to do it now because these holes are perfect. You really need to get that right when you bolt this. And what this punch down, center punch does is it makes a little divot. You can just get these on Amazon, but it makes a divot, and the divot is for when you're on the drill press, the tapered part can actually kind of find it. So you can pull the drill press down and it'll kind of lock into that groove, and then you can go straight through, and it just makes stuff quicker, and you won't be drilling things to the wrong size. Okay, so I've already marked these center pieces. Just gonna double check. So these are exactly 3.5, and then these over here, they're like, 3.5 plus a 1/16. So that's what I'm saying. We're just gonna let that go. Okay, so we got those punched down. We're just gonna hop over to the drill press and take an arrow or take your marker and make an arrow to where when you take these to the drill press, I just make an arrow going up. So I know that these are this orientation and these are the front ones, and I don't have to worry about the back. That way I don't get confused when I come back over here. And I do have the chat. Oh wait, there we go. I do get some chat. So Jamie asked, am I adding solar panels or is this a replacement? So this is a replacement. So I had a bracket that did not securely hold these, and I didn't like that. So we're gonna make sure Robin and Brian get really nice mounted solar panels. Yeah, so see, I just come here. You can't see it, but I'll talk you through it. The drill bit finds that punch down tool, and then we can actually get a nice, perfect drill through the aluminum. Aluminum's fun to work with too because it's really easy to cut. It's light. When you're doing stuff like this, don't try to cheat and double up two pieces and drill through both of them. You don't want to do that. And once you make it through the first hole, just push it straight on down through the second hole. I recommend, for the roof rack's sake, that you use a drill press. I wouldn't really recommend a drill. You can use a drill. It's just going to, if you use a drill, you're going to need to have, I would just go ahead with an oversized bit. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room so that you're not frustrated when you're kind of putting everything together. Okay, so we've got everything here, and you know, if you guys want any more detail, just let me know in the chat. I've kind of got the camera a little wide here, but I think you can. We should be streaming at 4K, so you should be able to check it out. Next, we got hardware. Only use stainless steel hardware on the roof. If you can't find stainless steel hardware for whatever reason, you know, you can get away with zinc plated stuff. It's just, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years it'll corrode. But yeah, try to use aluminum, stainless on the roof if you can. So I'm going to show you another thing I think is pretty cool. So we got our hardware here, and these are just, you know, socket head style bolts. If you want to use these brackets, or you need some way to shim this up and down, Home Depot actually has these chrome spacers. So I don't know if you can see that. And these things are awesome. These chrome spacers, I used them a bunch on Thomas's van, which is Marine 1. I didn't use them on this van. There's not really any reason or place for me to use them, but I use those spacers. They're expensive, but they're just these solid, not really nice chrome spacers. All right, so now we're getting ready to assemble. And one thing that I'm going to do is I actually, believe it or not, I'm not putting a washer on this top part. I like how when I tighten it up that the head kind of digs in and there's just a slight depression on the aluminum. I find that it really kind of locks in the head. If you think this is a little bit overkill for a solar panel on the roof, I think if you looked at a traditional RV roof, you'd be very surprised with how stuff on these on a like a manufactured RV is mounted. I'm not saying that these won't hold. I just, for the way I like to build, I don't really like it. If you think about it, it's not really for your van, it's for everybody around your van going down the highway. Because if a panel comes off, you know, it probably won't really do anything to your van. It'll just kind of go up in the air, but might not be good for other people on the road. The reason I'm using the ratchet is because I kind of drill the hole perfect enough to where the little aluminum burrs on the aluminum are catching my threads. And so I'm just tightening it to get those out of the way. Again, we're going to drill these on top of the roof. We're not going to do it here. Now, if you do want to use those brackets or some other solar panel items that you're seeing in this video, you can check out a free guide that I put together. It's called the DIY Van Build Cheat Sheet. Link is in the description below. And essentially, it is the last 3 years of all of my Amazon purchases organized into an Excel sheet. And it's got over 250 curated items. And when I mean curated, they're categorized into electrical, water systems, hardware, nuts, bolts, stuff that I use for 80/20 on vans. And yeah, so that list is completely free for you guys. It's just there to help you out with your, going to save time and money with your DIY van build. But yeah, check it out. Link is in the description below. It's called the DIY Van Build Cheat Sheet. And it'll also take you to vanbuilderhq.com, which is our blog post, our website where we have our blog posts that go through in-depth of all kinds of stuff. Camper van mattresses, air conditioners, solar panel wiring, true cost of a van conversion, and a whole lot more. So definitely check that out. It's kind of like the resource guide to go along with all these live streams. And while we're on the live stream, if you guys have questions, let me know. Be happy to answer them. But if you want to ask a question later, you can just check out the video later and put it in the comments below. The last live stream I did, I think I answered, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 questions from the comments. So I didn't do a direct reply. I just kind of read through them and answered them. So if you want to catch the very end of the last video, or the last live stream, and you did ask a question, those are answered in the last probably 20 minutes of the live stream from yesterday. All right, these are 1/4 1.5" stainless steel bolts, and I'm using 11 millimeters, believe it or not, for tightening these. And then I'm making sure that I go wide. I always try to go to one side. I don't want these kind of cockeyed. I push them out. We're also installing a WeBoost on this van, and it's the brand new WeBoost. I wonder if I got the box around here somewhere. I'll show you the box. The box for the WeBoost is really nice. It's like this very thick plastic, printed plastic. I know it sounds funny, but if you saw the quality of the box that it came in, you'd be blown away. It's kind of weird for a product to have such nice packaging. Now I'm being cognizant to understand that when I'm bolting this down, I am kind of deforming the aluminum. So just be aware that, if you don't feel like it's getting tight, you may have already passed that point and you're now to the point of actually deforming the metal. It's not bad, just kind of understand that that's what you're doing. Okay, so now that we have this, you can see you've got a really, just really strong, stable way to mount these solar panels. And it feels right. That's what I like about it. It just feels very nice and strong. It's not like this. Let's see, what do I want to show you? Let me show you that. I'm going to put that box. Yeah, so Brian and Robin are getting this. They're getting the brand new Drive Reach Overland cell signal booster. So the Drive Reach Overland, Brian found this. I didn't know that they made like an Overland. It was kind of like a new product. It's so I talked to tech support. Everything's the same. The antenna is the same. It's just the way that the antenna articulates is what changes. So what this allows you to do is it has a articulating mount. So he'll be able to climb up the ladder, loosen this, have it put down when he's driving, and then raise it up when they're camping. And it's a 5G compatible, which is pretty cool. Let's see what else. Yeah, but what I was trying to do in their van, if you guys have seen this, I put extra USB ports, and they're the fast charge 3.0 USB ports in the back of the van for like laptops, MacBook Pros, iPads. However, I thought it was possible to take the 5 volts and convert it to 12 volts with like a buck boost type of situation. So you can't do that because going from 5 to 12, you lose too much amperage and it's not enough to drive this. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pretty much take all the cabinets down inside, take all the Adventure Wagon panels in the roof on the driver's side off, but it's okay. I need to do that anyway because I need to drill one more hole in the roof to get this cable pulled through. But yeah, that's kind of van building. Even though you plan for a easy pop in and out solution, sometimes you got to do it a different way. But I don't think I'll do a live stream on this. I'll probably take some photos for you guys and then kind of just walk through the process. Only because I got to take so much stuff out of the van and it'll take a while to do that. What else here? What else? All right, this is ready to go. I'll put it up on the van. I won't cover that because I've already showed you guys this picture over here. So this, if you missed it at the beginning of the live stream, this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. So you can see right here, we've got 2 bolts up here up front, nice and clean. The solar panel is perfectly level with the roof rack itself. Nothing sticking out over the edge. And then over here, this is what it looks like. We just got 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here. And yes, I purposely left off the washers on the top. Again, I like on certain applications how the socket bites into the metal, and that's just kind of my opinion on that. The last thing I want to show you, if you missed it, is really take in consideration this clearance between your Max fan and the solar panel. We're using a Flatline Vanco roof rack, and their roof rack is, well, let's just go to their website. So I really like their roof racks. I think they're good. I like the way they look on the these other versions. I like the ladder a lot. But this this part right here is where I'd like them to improve. If I can find it. Right here. This, the 57.3, I'm not sure why that has to be that number. It really needs to be 60 inches minimum on usable width. It's just my experience in building vans, I'm not sure why that hasn't changed. I don't know if it's like a patent or a bracket issue, or I don't know. I don't see why there would be a reason. Even if you had a Fiamma F45S awning or any other awning on the side, having that stick out is not an issue compared to not being able to fit 300 watt, 20 inch wide, kind of standard width panels on a roof. Because this, since it's 57.3, you cannot fit 3 100 watt panels width-wise, obviously. So because it's so tight, it's really close to the just makes it really close to this fan. And if you don't center the roof rack right, one side will touch while the other side will have a gap. So just a little heads up for everyone if you're doing that. Again, the quality of the roof rack is great. The ease of install, great. The width, just take that in consideration. Depending on what solar panels you use, it may not even be an issue, but this number right here is that's what's gonna get you, because this solar panel, this right here is 20 inches wide. So, all right. We got about 1 more minute. I'll take some questions if you guys have any questions. So let me walk over here, check the chat. So if you guys have a question, we'll be at 1 minute here. We'll close it out. And I'll see if they'll pop through. But yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell so you don't miss when I go live. I go live random throughout the week, so don't want you to miss opportunity to ask some questions in the shop. If you're new to the channel, I do this stuff all the time. I'll just kind of take a break, work on something and give you some tips. And if you do want an easy way to save time and money on your next build, we have a free DIY van build cheat sheet. It's basically an Excel sheet of over 250 items that I have organized. It's the last 3 years of my Amazon purchases that have been delivered to the shop. So if it's something I bought off of Amazon and it's been delivered to the shop, it's on that list. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's got solar panels, brackets, it's got water pumps, electrical wiring, fuses, hardware, so a bunch of the hardware that I use. And it's just a cool thing to kind of do a reference to see what's out there before you buy. It's completely free. So all you got to do is click on the link in the description below, or you can go to vanbuilderhq.com. And besides the cheat sheet, go to vanbuilderhq.com. There's a bunch of blog posts that we've put together and written. It goes in detail over all kinds of things. There are solar panel wiring, electrical systems, best camper van, RV mattress, best rooftop AC. Currently, I have the Dometic RTX 2000 on that list. I will be adding the Pneumatic Cooling X2 48 volt rooftop AC. It just came out first of this year. We put it on John and Susan's van. It's working fantastic. We coupled it with the EcoFlow 48 volt power system. And yeah, they're enjoying it. It's doing really well. Yeah, I definitely got to check in with them to see how it's going so far. Now that we're in summertime, it was a little bit cooler when we put it in during the delivery last time. So yeah, we'll check in and give you guys some feedback on that. Don't see any more questions, so we're going to call that for the live stream today. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed, and we'll see you in the next live stream.